What up, everybody? In The Godfather of Harlem Season 3, we currently have Joe Colombo taking care of Stella Gigante. Direct orders from her father, Chin, who is currently in jail awaiting trial. And even though Stella is the one who put him in there, it is still his daughter, and he is going to do what he has to do to take care of her. I believe by now that Chin does see his wrong and responsibility in why Stella hates him, being involved in the 3 murders of the men she loved, though Chin never actually pulled the trigger himself on any of them. First, it was Lorenzo Bonanno, the son of former mob boss Joe Bonanno, when Stella was still very young, just maybe around 13 or 14 years old. And this is when her resentment for her father began. Following that, Stella fell in love with a singer named Teddy. Chin and his mafia crew terrorized Stella and Teddy for the duration of this relationship because the fact Teddy was black. Teddy was ran out of town before getting under the protection of Joe Bonanno by signing to his record label. After Stella's failed suicide attempt, Chin vowed not to mess with Teddy anymore. However, Chin's underboss Benny took matters into his own hands. One night after a performance, he shot Teddy to death behind a club. This is when Stella began a strange relationship with Ernie, who recently just became a made man in the Gigante family. Him and Stella were responsible for taking out Chin's underboss, Benny, in revenge for Teddy. They kept this secret from Chin for a while before Stella began to feel guilty and told her father what she had done. But at this time she began to have feelings for Ernie and made Chin promise not to retaliate. However, Stella was caught confessing Benny's murder on a tapped line to her uncle, the priest Louis. Then her uncle Louis came up with the plan to keep Stella out of jail and to keep her from having to snitch on her dad Chin by having Stella and Ernie marry each other. However, they did this without Chin's permission, and when Chin found out, he was furious and sent one of his men to finish the job on Ernie. Knowing that Stella would retaliate, he changed his mind at the last second and he tried to stop it before it was too late. But right when he got there, his man was finishing the job on Ernie. That gets us to our current situation. Chin is in jail and Stella needs protection. Chin has turned to Joe Colombo, who is currently the acting boss in Chin's place. Joe began to open up to Stella about his past in the last episode, telling her the story about his father and how he was a drunk, a violent man who even tried setting him up for a crime that he committed. It was at this time Stella began to trust Joe Colombo somewhat. Now we have Colombo setting Stella up with a nice apartment which he promises to have furnished and decorated however Stella wants, but Stella tells Joe she wants to go back to school and that she wants a job. It would be too dangerous for Stella to go back to school, so Colombo hires Stella as his secretary. Then we have Joe Colombo and Stella going out to dinner, and Joe again tries to relate to Stella even the more by telling her he understands why she hates his guts and guys like him. By admitting this and telling her he owes his father a debt of loyalty that he can never repay, Stella opens up to Joe even more and has a glass of wine with him at dinner. So we can all see where this is headed a mile away. I believe Joe Colombo already has feelings for Stella, and he is growing more on Stella each episode as she begins to trust him and feel comfortable around him. So the question that must be asked is, how is Chin going to take this news? Will he learn his lesson from Lorenzo, Teddy, and Ernie? Or he may feel as if Joe Colombo took advantage of the situation and seek revenge. Because I do believe we have not seen the last of Chin Gigante on the Godfather of Harlem. I think he will beat his charges he is currently facing sometime in this season and be released from jail. Final thought. How will Joe Colombo react when he learns that Stella is a snitch? Because he does not know this information yet, and neither has Stella told Joe that her stepmother Olympia was involved in the hit on her life. So there you have it. My thoughts on Joe Colombo and Stella Gigante. Leave your thoughts in the comments.